And this is just bad, 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 bad rolling. Hey guys, I'm back again with another baking video. I am going to be making a fruit tart. I still haven't decided what fruits I'm going to be using. I do believe I'm just going to do a berry tart. So strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. But I will show you the process, the crust, the filling, and then the fruits on top. With all recipes, I scale all my ingredients beforehand, so it just makes it a lot easier for me when I'm making my products. In this bowl, I have 375 grams of unsifted flour, and here we have 250 grams of butter, 125 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of vanilla extract. Here I have 1 egg. So what I'm about to make is the crust for the fruit tart. I am going to cream the butter and the sugar along with the vanilla extract. Once it's at a creamy consistency, I am then going to add my egg, and then I'm going to add my flour, which I will sift beforehand. Once we have that done, I am going to roll it up, put it in the fridge just to chill for about 10 minutes, and then I am going to roll it in our pan. So we're going to cream this until it gets to the consistency you want. Now always you use room temperature butter. Don't be like me, please don't be like me. But my butter is actually at room temperature this time, so it shouldn't take a while. It shouldn't take a long time for us to cream this. So we're going to do this for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's at the consistency that I want. Your mixture will start to look something like this. Just increase the speed until it starts sticking to the side and you'll get the consistency that you want. So about 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna add the egg. As you can see, the mixture is getting super creamy, which is what we want. So what I am going to do is I'm going to scrape down the sides, give it a mix for about 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to add the egg. And once the egg is fully combined, I'm going to add the sifted flour. Okay, so now we're just going to scrape down the bowl. See how creamy it is? This is what happens when you use room temperature butter. It creams a lot faster than cold butter. But anyways, we're just going to scrape it down, everything in the middle, whip it up for a little bit, and then add the eggs. Now we're going to add the eggs. And we're going to mix. What I like to do here is just scrape down the sides again so that the eggs can be fully combined. Your mixture will start to look something like this. As you can see, the eggs are fully incorporated. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to stop the machine and I'm going to add the flour. Once the flour is added, I'm just going to mix it for a short time until everything is incorporated. Knead it for a little bit and then put it in the fridge. Your mixture should look something like this. It's very creamy. And now I am going to sift my flour into it. There's my sifter. And then we are going to mix it up. Okay, so just sift your flour. And once you're done sifting your flour, you're going to mix this until everything is combined. So just mix on slow until everything is combined, and your dough is going to form shortly. Once it's formed, ball it up, wrap it in saran wrap, and put it in the fridge for just a little bit. See, like this is done. So I'm about to take this off. Okay, I just wanted to show you. I put a little flour. I'm going to add a little more on my work surface because my dough is a tad bit sticky. So I'm just going to work it in just a little more until a ball is formed, and then I'm going to just put it in the fridge for a few minutes, and then we're gonna put it in our pan. I thought I had to knead it in a little more, but I didn't. So this is what it looks like. I just took it out of the mixing bowl. So I'm just gonna cover it. I just added flour so it doesn't stick. I'm gonna put it in saran wrap in the fridge just to chill for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna roll it out. Okay, so my dough has been chilled a little too much, but that's okay. Anyways, I am now going to divide this in half with my bench scraper, and I'm gonna roll one half out and put it in my pan. I'm gonna try something a little differently today. Listen, I don't know if it's gonna come out. I'm gonna hope for the best, and we're gonna see what happens. Because the filling is a cooked filling, I am going to have to bake my pie shell or tart shell, whichever one you want to call it, in its entirety. Not separate, but cut the dough in half, like so, just to show you. This is what it looks like. Just to give you an idea of what we're working with. And I'm going to roll it out, like I said, and I'll show you the process. Before I actually roll the dough, I just wanted to show you guys the setup that I have right now. These are cake rings. So I am going to try and roll out the dough, put it in, cut a circle out, give it a little edge right here, bake it. Hopefully it doesn't shrink on me because there's no upside down here. It's just straight roll, place, and bake. So in my mind, this is gonna work. If it does not work, a few clips down, you'll probably see it in a different pan, but I'm gonna make sure this works. Okay. Okay, as with our last pie, the lemon meringue pie, you just want to roll your dough slightly bigger than the container you're gonna bake it in. I need to roll it out a little more. So once you put it in, there should be no like excess shrinkage. It should just fit perfectly in. And in my mind, it should work, but I'm a little iffy on the dough. It's a new dough that I'm testing out. I mean, I'm here to test recipes, but we'll see how this works. I'm a little nervous. Okay, as you can see, I rolled out my dough, and I didn't show you, but when I rolled the other half, I'll show you. But I rolled out my dough, and I put it in the ring. Now, this dough is not exactly, it's not a pastry dough itself. It's not your typical pie pastry, I should say. I decided to use a short dough cookie recipe, but it's a little soft. It started to break and I had to bind it and fix it. But I am going to now use my rolling pin to get rid of the excess. I mean, I can use my hand, but I don't want to push it down like right here. So I'm just going to use a rolling pin to get rid of the excess. And what I am going to do, I change my mind. I change my mind very often. One of these rings, I'm going to put something in the middle here. And the other one is going to stay clear like this because I want to see how each bake and what I need to do differently for next time. But yeah, this is what we have. This is the process that I take with the dough itself. I just use my rolling pin and go over it. But what I will say is because this dough is a little softer than what I'm used to, I tend to have a container of flour and just constantly add flour to it so that it doesn't stick to the bottom, like as you can see here. But this was rolled a little thin. So I'm just going to roll this out and then prep the other cake pan, not cake pan, but cake ring. To show you, I folded, oh, it's breaking. I folded the dough in half just to make it easier for me to pick up and transfer over to my cake ring. So I am going to do that and then I'll show you again how it looks. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys what I did. I rolled this one and left this one plain. I rolled this one and then added a little strip in here. Now, like I said, I don't know how well this is gonna work. This will come out once it's already baked, hopefully. So we're just gonna enjoy this little experiment. It's gonna be delicious. it just might not come out right. So I'm gonna bake this for about, I'm gonna start at about 20 minutes until, you know, I think it's finished. I don't want to overbake it. I'm looking for a nice color, not too dark, because then it'll start to look burnt. But we're gonna bake it. We're gonna make the filling once this is in the oven baking, and then we'll see what we have. I wanted to show you something. This is the excess dough. This is the remaining dough. Now, it's not as soft as it was because it's a little worked in. So what I'm going to say is you can knead it in. If it's a little too soft for you, just knead it in a little so that the gluten is developed just a bit, so that once you roll it out, it has a little elasticity to it and it doesn't tear as much. Whereas when I first rolled it out, it was very soft. It wasn't as pliable as it is now. But that's just a tip for you guys. I'm testing out this recipe, so we'll see what happens with the way I rolled mine out. Okay, so we have a few problems here. Now, here, as you can see, my oven has a little hot spot. So this is the result of the hot spot. Now, I am going to address this little thingy right here and the difference between this one and here. So remember earlier when I said if the dough is too soft, you need to knead it a little more. This is the result of kneading it just a few minutes more. It didn't actually shrink. I mean, it cracked, but that was the space between when I was joining the two ends, but nowhere else is cracked. Everything else is fine. And if you can see, it was fine. I removed this before coming on camera, but I'm not going to force it back in just because. Okay, there we go. See, as you can see, where it went in, it stayed the exact same. So just kneading your dough a little longer will prevent it from doing this craziness. So now the perfectionist in me, because I have excess dough, I am going to roll the dough all over again and I'm going to bake it again. I'm not going to show you this. I'm just going to show you the end result because you already know how to roll the dough. Now, some people might be like, why is she showing us this? Why is it so ugly? But in baking, anything can happen. There's always something, so you just have to adjust. What I will do is, this one, it's bad. I don't like it. It's ugly, but I can still use it. So I'm going to roll it again. I'm going to make a fresh one. Hopefully it comes out. If it doesn't come out, then I'm clearly doing something wrong. But I'm also going to use this just to show you that even though you made a mistake, you can still make it look pretty. Now, I would not advise you to sell a product that looks like this, okay? This is for home consumption only. But yeah, so this, again, is a hot spot in my oven. And this is just bad, 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 bad rolling. So now I'm going to make the pastry cream for the fruit tart. So I'm just going to run down a list of ingredients that I have and the amount that I used. First, I have eggs, 3 whole eggs. Here I have 15 grams of butter. Here I have 250 grams of milk. Now this recipe calls for 2 sets of sugar. So in the pot I have 32 grams of sugar, and in this bowl I have 32 grams of sugar and 18 grams of cornstarch. What's going to happen is I'm going to pour the milk into this, and we're going to bring it to a boil. And once that's finished, what we're going to do is we are going to temper the egg. Once the milk mixture has come to a boil, I'm going to add it to the eggs and cornstarch mixture. So what's going to happen is I'm going to add the eggs to the cornstarch mixture, and I'm going to whisk it until it becomes a pale color. Once that is ready, I'm going to set it aside, and when the milk comes to a boil, I will add it to this mixture. So now I'm just going to whisk this together. Ooh, I made a mess. I'm gonna whisk this together until it's nice and pale. And then once the milk, like I said, is ready, we're gonna add them together. Okay, I just wanted to show you our milk mixture is boiling. Well, it's getting there. So just let it come to one full boil. Okay, so our milk mixture is ready, so I'm just gonna pour, and then we're gonna stir it really quickly. I'm not gonna pour all, just some, and then we're gonna stir it really quickly, just so that the eggs and the milk can be the same temperature. And then once this is done, we're gonna add it back to the pot and put it on the stove until it's thickened. So I'm just adding the mixture back into the pot, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it back on the stove and we're gonna cook it until it's thickened. It shouldn't take as long to thicken up, but you never know. This is baking and anything can happen. So I'm gonna do this for about 5 minutes, see what happens, and then we'll continue. Okay, so I have the mixture on the stove. It feels like it's thickening up a little bit, but I have to watch it because one thing I do not want is for it to burn at the bottom. I have it on level 5 on my burner right now. So just constantly stir and you'll begin to see a difference within a few minutes. As you can see, like it still looks watery, but the bottom is thickening up. You see? There's a little clump there. So you have to constantly stir it. So I'm going to stir for a bit and then we'll see what we have. Okay, as you can see, it's thickened a bit, but I don't believe the cornstarch is cooked as yet. So I'm just going to stir it for a little bit more. It looks a little lumpy. So what's going to happen is I am going to strain this before I use it, just so that if there's any lumps that are not needed, I will get rid of them once I strain it. Okay, I also wanted to add that at this point you can add your flavoring. I just added a little of my vanilla extract in it, so I'm going to stir it for a bit. But as you can see, it's thickened to the point where it's not even falling. I like that consistency, so I'm not going to cook it any further, but like I said, I am going to strain it so that I can get rid of any lumps that's there and we have a smooth mixture. Okay, so I didn't strain it as yet. I just wanted to show you. See, it's not as lumpy as it was before because I constantly stirred it off of the heat just so that it can come together. But I'm still going to strain it because I really don't want any lumps. Anything can happen. So we're going to strain it into a bowl. Once it's strained, we're going to add the butter, stir, cover it with saran wrap, and put it in the fridge to cool. Okay, so I just have the little strainer here because it wasn't a lot of mixture. So I'm going to just stir it. It is very thick. So I made like a custard type filling. So it's super thick. So this is going to take me at least 10 minutes depending on my speed. So I just, you know, go along with the motions. And at the end, this is what's coming out. It looks so much smoother than what's at the top. So once we're done, we're going to add the butter because the mixture is still warm. And then we'll put it aside to set. Okay, so I added the butter right here. And now we're just going to stir. As you can see, the mixture is super creamy, super thick. And to be honest, it might not be a looker, but it's super delicious. So sometimes it's really not how it looks, even though we eat with our eyes. The process is sometimes not pretty, but the final results is awesome. Okay, so remember I said I was gonna use one of my old shells. This one is the one that had the hot spot in the oven. So I'm just gonna use this just to finish off the fruit tart, even though I'm still gonna roll a new one because I want to make sure I did it right and it wasn't my fault. So what's gonna happen is I am going to pour this mixture into here, smooth out the top, and just let it sit. I can put it in the fridge if I want to, or I can leave it out at room temperature. It's pretty cool, so it should set really fine. And then I will top it with fruits. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your palette knife and you're just going to go around and smooth it. Once it's smooth out, you can set it aside and you can add your fruits. I'm always changing my mind. I'm still going to use this one. Oh, it broke. Only because I really want to see how it looks once it's filled. And I think I have enough pastry cream just to fill this. I think it's going to be rustic. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to do that. I'm still going to roll out and bake the other one just to show you because I did say I was going to show you. But this is for home consumption. This is not for me to sell or anything like that. But I'm not happy because, I mean, it's a bit deformed. And I'm not going to stop until I figure out what went wrong. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go all the way and we're going to see how the final tart looks. Okay, so here is my other one. It is not quite even, you know, I'll work on that. But, like, at first glance, you don't remember what it looked like before. So now I'm just going to add some fruits. I don't know how I'm going to design it. I'm just going to throw some fruits on and we'll see what happens. I just wanted to give a side-by-side of what they look like with the cream inside. This is bothering me so much because it's not quite centered. Like this side is a little bigger than this side, but it's okay. It's all going to go in the same place, but it really is bothering me. So I'm going to cut my fruits up. I'm going to place them on in no particular order. I don't know what design I'm going to use. I'm just going to do it and then I'll see what I come up with. Okay, so I just wanted to show you my finished product. I'm going to brush them with a syrup so that they can shine. I'm just using corn syrup and a little bit of water because I don't have apricot glaze. So I'm just going to brush them with that. Probably ice, with ice and sugar. I don't know yet. But this is the final result. As you can see, it's pretty basic, but they look pretty. I'm actually happy with how they look, even though my crust, I'm going to say it's a bit rustic. Like, look at this. It's so rustic. I love it. But this is how you make a fruit tart with a rustic crust. Okay, so this is the dough that I told you I was going to roll out a second time. So as you can see, it looks completely different than the first time around. The gluten had a chance to develop. So I do believe the first time I did this, I didn't knead it enough, which is why it shrunk so badly. So now I'm going to bake this and hopefully it does not shrink as much. I'm praying, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to say this was an epic fail. I mean, it looks so much better, but it shrunk all the way down. What I'm gonna say is I probably overworked this dough way too much because I really don't think there's anything wrong with the recipe. I really just think it's the amount of kneading that's done. If it's too much, this happens. If it's not enough, the previous one happens. So what's gonna happen is over the next couple of days, few weeks, months, who knows, I'm gonna try this recipe again because I want to make sure it works. I'm gonna try it in a different pan. Maybe I shouldn't use this and I should use a different pan. So that's what I'm gonna do. You'll see the process, but this is my bacon blender.